comment by phone. Cecilia, can you, and if there's anybody on the phone that wishes to make comment, please remember to mute your device while you're watching the meeting, or all sound will continue to come through while other people are speaking. Cecilia, do we have anybody that wishes to make comment on the phone?
Yes, Chair, we do have a caller and we are live.
Okay, thank you. Oh, terrific. Great. We're back on YouTube. Perfect.
Caller with the last digits 570. Can you please state your first and last name? Please press *6 to unmute yourself. Chair, the caller has left.
Okay. Was that the only one we had, Cecilia?
Yes, Chair.
All right. Then we will go ahead and close our first period of public comment. Again, we'll have another period at the very end of our meeting if anybody wishes to make public comment. We'll go ahead and move on to agenda item number 3, which is the approval of our previous meeting minutes from our meeting of November 14th, 2025. Did anybody have any discussion or edits or comments on the minutes? Don't hear anyone or see any hands, I believe. Would someone care to make a motion to approve the minutes?
John McCormick, so moved.
Thank you, John. Can we have a second?
Jennifer Lanterman, a second.
Thank you, Dr. Lanterman. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? I see or hear no opposition, so we'll note for the record the unanimous approval of our minutes from November 14th, 2025. Which will take us to agenda item number 4, which is our report from Director Powers. The director is statutorily mandated, as everybody knows, to update the commission on sentencing and related issues regarding the functions of the department. So we have her provide a report every time we have a meeting, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Director Powers for her report. Director?
Thank you, Chair. All right. We will start with administrative. We have acquired an office, just one small office in Las Vegas, and we will be doing some business out of that. And next we will talk about the BDRs that will be forthcoming. We are gearing up to look at what's going to happen in the next ledge session. One of our biggest things is for NDSP to become an agency of criminal justice, which will allow us to have access to some data that we do not have at this point. I will move on to the commission. We did send out requests to have personal meetings with each of you yesterday. We had a great early response. I have heard from 12 of you, which is very exciting. Deputy Director Bonacorsi and I, we look forward to talking to each of you about your interests for presentations and projects for this meeting cycle. The commission has the statutory conduit to make recommendations to the legislature regarding criminal justice processes in our state. At the March meeting, I will present the ideas gleaned from these meetings for you to discuss and choose which items you would like to prioritize. I would like to talk about the May meeting of the commission. We would like to have that. It is an in-person meeting, and we would like it to be a prison tour. We would like to go to Las Vegas and tour one of the prisons there. We have talked to the Department of Corrections, and they welcome us. We will have partial reimbursement for travel for the northern commissioners, so we will speak more about that and send out information. The prison, the tour will be held at the prison. We will not have any public comment or a call to order, but that will be posted per open meeting law. We will go on to data and reports. We have started a research project regarding a better way to follow individuals through the criminal justice system. We wanted to thank DA Mark Jackson for meeting with us and being our initial voice. We do hope that a secondary thing to come out of this project will be an overarching, unique identifier for people in the criminal justice system. We have been working on misdemeanor data for the subcommittee and working through RCCD for that data. And the murder report questionnaire for 178.750 has gone out to the county district attorneys, and we will be collecting that information. And that is what I have today. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Powers. Does anybody have any questions for the director? Do not hear. I'm checking. Do not see any hands on our screen either. Okay, Director, thank you again. We will go ahead and close agenda item number 4 and move on to agenda item number 5, which is in regard to the Nevada Local Justice Reinvestment Grant presentation. The Nevada Department of Sentencing Policies, Marie Bledsoe, is going to give us the final results of our grant. So Marie, I'm going to let you take over, and I think you're going to share your screen as well, yes?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Give
Okay.
me 1 second to share.
No worries.
Right, can everybody see that?
Yes, we're all good.
Great. Good morning. I'm Marie Bledsoe, a management analyst with the Nevada Department of Sentencing Policy. And good morning, Chair Herndon and the commissioners. This presentation is an update to the 2024-2025 Nevada Local Justice Reinvestment Coordinating Council's $3 million grant program. Today, I'll be reporting on the Nevada Department of Sentencing Policy's required final report to the Interim Finance Committee, the initial programmatic results from the full year of this grant, and future considerations for this grant. Brief history, the required Interim Finance Committee, or IFC, reports were mandated in Assembly Bill AB 388 from the 2023 legislative session. This legislation also created the $3 million Nevada Local Justice Reinvestment Grant and gave the Coordinating Council and NDSP the authority to distribute these grant funds. NDSP delivered the first IFC report on December 20th, 2024. The second mandatory report was due September 19th, 2025, but because of the ransomware attack on Nevada's state government on August 24th, the report was delayed to October 28th. Both reports have been accepted by the IFC and can be found on the NDSP's website at sentencing.nv.gov. Once you're on the main website, select the webpage called The Hub and scroll down to reports. You can select either 2024 or 2025, depending on which report you're looking for. Here are some highlights from the report. 25 applications were received over 7 rounds of funding. 5 peer review committees reviewed and scored 23 applications, with 16 applications receiving full or partial grant funds. The full $3 million was initially granted, but adjustments needed to be made in March of 2025, bringing the final amount of state funds granted to $2.86 million. Considering Nevada as a whole, 9 rural counties received a shared total of $416,418, or 15% of the funding. Washoe County received $1.03 million, or 36% of the funding, and Clark County received $1.4 million, or 49% of the funding. In a broad view, here are 3 highlights from the report. $1.4 million was spent providing direct benefits to our target population, which was people in reentry or individuals at risk of recidivism. These benefits included job training, rental assistance, mental health housing, and transportation assistance, to name a few. 1 million in grant funding was for community health workers, therapists, counselors, case managers, and peer recovery support specialists. 2.71 thousand paid for staff travel and training, supplies, operating expenses at the grantees' facilities, drug testing, and indirect reimbursement to 9 nonprofit grantees. So let's move on to programmatic results. As we reported at the last NSC meeting, there were 2 challenges to programmatic reporting. One challenge was the newness of this grant effort. The other was that each grant recipient was afforded the opportunity to set their own project goals. NDSB did find places where individual program results lined up, creating 5 project buckets for the grant awards from rounds 1 through 7. Those 5 buckets are, bucket 1 is our most fast teams. In this bucket, we had 5 grant projects. Bucket 2 is mental health, substance use treatment, and housing, with 3 projects in this bucket. Bucket 3 is counseling and housing, with 3 projects here. Bucket 4 is training and employment, with 3 projects here. And then bucket 5 is victim services, with this bucket containing 2 projects. The results I'm presenting are high level and are for the entire grant performance period, which was May 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. So let's take a deeper dive into each of the buckets. MOST is an acronym for the Mobile Outreach Safety Team. These teams do crisis intervention in the field and are typically run out of a law enforcement agency. FAST, or Forensic Assessment Services triage teams, operate in jails after someone has been arrested. FAST has 2 models. Model 1 is run through a county's human services department, and then Model 2 runs its services through a nonprofit. The applications NDSP received were mostly for Model 2. So here we have Partnership Douglas County. This is a nonprofit that maintains some MOST funding for jails. And then the FAST personnel and program run exclusively out of this nonprofit through a partnership with Douglas County. They spent $51,523. Lyon County is our only county level human services grant in this bucket. They were trying to create a new peer recovery support specialist program for their FAST program. Unfortunately, employee churn at Lyon County and difficulty finding and hiring the peer recovery support specialists severely hampered this project. They spent $37,120. Community Chest is a single nonprofit operating in 2 counties. They are running their MOST and FAST programs by using community health workers who are specially trained to also provide crisis intervention. They can be called in by the sheriff's department at a moment's notice. And as you will see later in this presentation, they also provide ongoing case management to create stability for the person in crisis. They spent $57,420 in Story County and $59,034 in Mineral County. And then finally, in this bucket, we've got Lincoln Community Coalitions. Their grant launched a new program to support justice-involved individuals as they transition from incarceration or navigate extreme poverty, homelessness, and other high-risk conditions in the community. So reentry backpacks were assembled and distributed, evidence-based life skills training began, transportation support and data collection were also implemented. They spent $26,775. So total expenses here were $231,872. The Suicide Prevention Network only operated in Douglas County, but provided deep emotional work in the jail through group sessions. During this grant, permission was needed to bring Kleenex into these sessions for these participants. They had 15 sessions and assisted 56 people. The MOST and FAST statistics provided here span all 5 grants. The MOST staff completed 44 initial calls and 101 follow-up calls. So please note that the heaviest burden for the most staff is not the initial crisis, but the follow-up work. FAST staff in Story County, Mineral, and Lincoln counties combined handled 44 initial calls and 44 follow-up calls. The FAST staffs also connected 39 people leaving incarceration with multiple services. And finally, in Douglas County, they expanded their FAST program to start working with low-risk offenders. Their goal was to work with 10 people over the course of the grant, but were able to connect 36 offenders with services. So the programmatic results for bucket 2 includes 2 mental health courts and a transitions facility for prisoners leaving incarceration for that treats substance use disorder. Here our grantees are Las Vegas Municipal Court and Carson City Justice Municipal Court, both spending all of their grant funds, and Ridge House, which is the transitional housing facility in Reno. Together, they spent $417,027. So these numbers are very basic. Reporting results with these grants is difficult because these programs typically span 18 to 36 months, which exceeds the 12-month performance period for these grants. Across the 3 programs, they collectively reported 48 new participants, with 17 of those participants being in the brand newly revised program at Ridge House. The remaining 31 new participants were divided between the Las Vegas and Carson City mental health courts. By the end of the grant, 19 program participants had graduated and 20 left for noncompliance. The remaining 9 participants were still enrolled at when the program ended June 30th, or the grant rather ended June 30th. Bucket 3 was added since our last report. This is for counseling and housing services. The 3 facilities that offered these services were Quest Counseling and Consulting, Eddy House, which is a facility for young adults 18 to 24, and Catholic Charities of Northern Nevada, all 3 of these facilities in Washoe County. It should be noted that all 3 grant recipients here had 3 months to perform their duties, April 1st to June 30th. Quest and Eddy House spent all of the grant funds, and the aggregated total was $648,959. So this slide does not do these programs justice. There was a lot that we could report on, but in the interest of time, we're just going to be reporting on these 3 programs. We're able to do 75 people with counseling services, 52 people with rental assistance, and 200 people with housing assistance. And let me take a moment to explain the difference between rental and housing assistance. Rental assistance here means that the person being assisted had access to a dwelling and received assistance paying rent. Housing assistance applies to Eddy House and Catholic Charities of Northern Nevada, who both maintain housing at their facilities. So these funds paid for individuals to live at those facilities. People living in these facilities may only stay 1 or 2 weeks. So Catholic Charities ran 2 programs, one for rent and the other for housing, and their programs are differentiated here. In bucket 4, we've got training and employment, and there were 3 grant recipients. They are Humboldt County Human Services, the City of North Las Vegas's Youth Court, and the Foundation for an Independent Tomorrow, or FIT. The peer review committees for these grants placed a huge emphasis on these services, which is why spending in this bucket came to over $1.3 million. These grant recipients collectively focused on assistance, vocational training, and employment, plus added services. The assistance services included rental assistance, bus passes, gas passes, hygiene kits, childcare, and more. The employment numbers here are very impressive. 258 people in reentry or trying to avoid recidivism were trained in a participant's new chosen profession, like welding, truck driving, warehouse jobs, nursing, and medical assistance. 177 of the 258 were employed with their new chosen profession when the grant ended on June 30th, And then 83 were still finishing their training or actively seeking employment in June. These grant recipients also received added training in job and life preparedness with services like substance use, conflict resolution, job readiness, digital literacy, and financial literacy. Our final bucket, number 5, is for 2 victim services grants. One was the Nevada Outreach and Training Organization, or NOTO, located in Nye County, and the other is Northern Nevada Legal Aid, located in Washoe County. There has been an update to the slide from the version that was sent out with the agenda. So the totals of $48,562 for NOTO and $12,013 for NNLA, plus a combined total of $60,595 for victim services, has been added to this slide. These grantees were both very busy, but because their grants are so wildly different, their results have been broken into 2 slides. So over the 1-year reporting period, NOTO assisted 315 primary domestic violence victims. I won't go through all of this, but as you can see here, there were also 507 secondary clients that NOTO assisted, and 167 of the primary domestic violence victims, or over half, were children. 2 adults and 13 children were driven to Las Vegas for a SANE exam. NOTO's advocates provided 6,677 direct services to these victims, and they also provided direct advocacy services like accompanying victims to court, securing temporary protection orders, plus providing 23 victims with 1,138 shelter bed nights. Northern Nevada Legal Aid just had a 3-month grant window from April 1st to June 30th. NNLA's goal was 1 client per month for 2 different work programs. One work unit was the consumer and housing, and the second work unit was adult guardianship. So this grant exceeded expectations. Instead of helping 6 clients for the 3-month life of this grant, the consumer and housing helped 10 clients, and adult guardianship unit helped 9 clients, so a total of 19 clients total. Consumer and housing mainly assisted victims with domestic violence with preventing evictions that would have a negative impact on the client's rental history and credit rating. The adult guardianship unit primarily assisted victims of elder abuse. The attorneys went to court hearings and provided court oversight. In one case, they were able to terminate their client's guardianship. So we encourage all members of the commission to look at the full report. The first 21 pages of the latest report are dedicated to budgets and expenditures. The final 32 pages have 2 pages dedicated each to the 16 grant recipients. Please provide any feedback, any suggestions for future reporting that the members would like to see. So again, this report can be found on the Nevada Department of Sentencing Policy's website. So finally, looking to the future, these grant programmatic results will be going back to the Nevada Local Justice Reinvestment Coordinating Council for their guidance. On the list of future considerations will be the future of this grant's funding. Bringing this grant back would also require legislative approval during the 2027 legislative session. And then continuing programmatic analysis. It is hard to judge the success of these programs after 1 year of funding. Several grantees in this 2024-2025 grant funding cycle has expressed a willingness to continue sharing data on the individuals that were touched by this funding, so NDSB can check in on their progress. So we hope to bring you those updates in the future. And that, Chair, ends this presentation, and I would love to take any questions.
Thank you, Marie. Anybody have any questions for Ms. Bledsoe? I am not seeing any hands or hearing anything. Marie, that was pretty comprehensive, so very well done.
Thank you.
And thank you for shouting out to the terrific legislators that we have here in the room about our potential needs for 2027.
Thank you.
Okay, if there aren't any questions, then we will go ahead and close agenda item number 5 and move on to agenda item number 6, which is our NDSP data report from Deputy Director Bonacorsi. Hi, Jenna.
Hi, Chair. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Please go ahead.
I think my presentation should be up for you all, so I will go ahead and begin. Good morning. My name is Jenna Bonacorsi, and as the Chair just said, I'm the Deputy Director for the Department of Sentencing Policy. Today, we will be covering what data is used by NDSP. So that'll include an overview of the Nevada Department of Corrections data that we use, as well as a overview of our hub and other data projects and reports, and we'll have a moment for questions. The goal of this presentation is to familiarize our new commission members with the data available for analysis, as well as provide a comprehensive overview of the current Department of Corrections population. I apologize that this report was not released prior to this morning, as I only finalized it last night. It will be live on our website. I think with how the website systems work, about 10 a.m. it should be live. The DOC worked with us to collect and clean this data much earlier than usual, allowing us to present the most up-to-date year-end numbers for 2025 today. So we were only able to begin the analysis on the data earlier this week. For the commission members who have participated in the past, please note that while some topics may seem familiar, the data points presented are newly updated with 25. With that, let's jump into the presentation. So what data is used by NDSP? NDSP uses data from multiple sources, including the Department of Corrections, the Department of Public Safety, the Parole Board, and the District Attorney's offices. This presentation, will focus on the largest and most frequently used data sets, which do come from the Department of Corrections. Over the past 21 years, the Nevada Department of Corrections, or NDOC, has averaged a population of about 12,400 offenders. The prison population peaked in 2016 at 14,153 offenders and reached its lowest point in 2022 with 10,353 offenders for year-end numbers. Since that low, the population has steadily increased, reaching to 10,916 offenders as of December 2025. All data presented, excluding admissions, reflect December 31 or year-end counts for every calendar year. The figures here on this slide do include safekeepers. A safekeeper is an offender serving an out-of-state sentence in an NDOC facility or an offender housed in a Nevada Department of Corrections facility under an agreement with a county or a city law enforcement agency within Nevada. While safekeepers are included in the NDOC population for housing counts and things like that, they are not sentenced with the Nevada felony, so therefore they are excluded from the remainder of the NDOC data presentation here today. On average, male offenders account for approximately 91% of the Nevada Department of Corrections population, with female offenders comprising the remaining 9%. As of December 31st, 2025, the largest age group within the Nevada Department population were offenders aged 30 to 34 and 35 to 39, each representing roughly 16% of the population. Combined, offenders in their 30s account for approximately 1/3 of the prison population. As of December 25, the youngest offender in NDOC custody was 17 years old, and the oldest offender was 99 years old. In December 2025, the Nevada Department of Corrections updated its race and ethnicity reporting to align with the March 24 U.S. Census Bureau guidelines update. Under the updated methodology, race and ethnicity are collected using a single combined question rather than two separate questions for Hispanic/Latino ethnicity and race. For NDOC data, the individuals with multiracial backgrounds may select up to two categories, designating one as a primary race or ethnicity. The primary designation must match or closely align with information listed on official documents, such as their birth certificate. The data represented here reflects the primary race and ethnicity recorded for each offender. As of December 25, 2005, the largest race and ethnicity group within NDOC was white offenders at 37%, followed by Black or African American offenders at 33%, and Hispanic or Latino offenders at 22%. The county of commitment refers to the county in which the crime was committed. As of December 2025, 65% of NDOC offenders were committed from Clark County, 21% from Washoe County, and the remaining counties each accounted for 1 to 2% of the population. This data reflects each offender's most serious offense as determined by a hierarchy developed by the Nevada Department of Corrections. As shown in this chart, over the past 9 years, Category B felony offenders have consistently represented the largest portion of the NDOC population, followed by Category A felony offenders. Historically, violent offenders have comprised the largest offense group. Prior to 2020, property offenders held the second largest share, followed closely by sex offenders. However, after 2020, the property and drug offender populations declined significantly. As of December 2025, Category B violent crimes comprise the largest portion of the NDOC population at 28%, followed by Category A violent offenses at 17%, and Category A sex offenses at 9%. In 2025, 37% of NDOC offenders had no prior jail incarcerations, while 23% had 5 or more. Additionally, 60% had no previous terms of probation, and 44% had 1 prior prison incarceration. These figures highlight a population with a mix of both first-time offenders and individuals with significant prior criminal involvement. Before we begin this next section, I want to take a moment to review what an NDOC booking means in the context of this presentation. A booking encompasses any conviction at the time of and subsequent to an offender entering NDOC custody. An offender could begin their booking with 1 or more judgment of conviction and potentially add JOCs to their booking once it has already begun. One way this could happen is if an offender is still pending sentencing from 1 or more charges when they enter NDOC custody. If they are convicted, these sentences join the original booking and may add time to the offender's original booking's maximum. Another way is if an offender is paroled to the community but receives new charges. These charges join the original booking and may similarly add time. As of December 2025, the Department of Corrections had 10,862 offenders in their population serving Nevada felonies. Historically, we have only been able to look at 1 offense per offender, their most serious offense, for our analysis. An offense is essentially a criminal conviction as stated on their JOC or JOCs. There could be 1 or many offenses, each having a unique sentence term with a unique felony category, offense group, and sentence lengths. Depending on whether these convictions were adjudged to run concurrently or consecutively, each offense in the booking could have a different status. Possible statuses are active, discharged, parole, pending, and among others. An offender's booking does not expire until all charges on their booking are discharged. Through the collaboration with NDOC, we developed a newer data set called the All Offenses data set. This allows us to look at a much more precise in our analysis and allows us to see all offenses on an offender's booking, not just their most serious. This gives better insight to the types of crime, sentence lengths, enhancement usages, and other data points to give a more well-rounded view of sentencing trends and the usage of prison resources. So for December of 2025, among the 10,862 offenders, there were 32,707 offenses among all bookings. As of December 25, 22% of the offenders had maximum sentence lengths between 5 and 9 years, making it the largest category, while shorter sentences of less than 5 years applied to approximately 14% of offenders, while 25 years or more also represented 14% of the population. Additionally, 18% of the offenders were sentenced to life with the possibility of parole, 5% to life without the possibility of parole, and a very small portion, less than 1%, were sentenced to death. This distribution highlights that while most offenders are serving mid-length sentences, a substantial portion face long-term or life sentences. From 2017 to 2025, the total number of recorded offenses in the NDOC population decreased, while the total population also declined. In 2017, there were 36,947 offenses among 13,716 offenders, yielding an average of 2.69 offenses per offender. By 2025, the total offenses were 32,707 among 10,862 offenders, resulting in an average of 3.1 offenses per offenders. This reflects a gradual increase in the average number of offenses per offender. From 2017 to 2025, Category B offenses consistently represented the largest portion of all NDOC offenses, ranging from 18,805 to 21,784 over the period. Category A offenses steadily increased, while Category C offenses showed a slight decline early in the period, but began to rise again after 2022, reaching 3,158 in 2025. Category D and E offenses remained the smallest groups throughout the time period. From 2017 to 2025, violent offenses consistently comprised the largest portion of NDOC offenses. Sex offenses were the second largest category, with 5,141 in 2025. Property offenses and drug offenses showed a notable decrease from 2015 to 2025. DUI and other offenses have remained relatively stable, with a slight uptick in recent years. As of December 2025, the most common single offense in the Nevada Department of Corrections was the use of deadly weapon enhancement, with 4,361 instances. This was followed by robbery at 2,409 instances, sexual assault with the victim under 16 at 1,187, first-degree murder at 1,168, and lewdness with a minor at 1,149. Among the property offenses, burglary was the most frequent, with 625 offenders serving time for this crime. Within the drug offense group, the most frequent offense was trafficking a Schedule 1 or 2 controlled substance, 100 to 400 grams, with 173 instances. For DUI offenses, the most common was DUI causing death or substantial bodily harm. In the other offense group, habitual criminal greater was the most frequent, with 1,132 instances. From 2017 to 2025, Category B offenses accounted for the majority of admissions into NDOC, peaking at 2,894 in 2028 and decreasing to 1,974 in 2025. Category A admissions steadily increased over the period. Category C and D admissions fluctuated, reaching 1,090 in 2025, while Category D and E admissions remained the smallest groups. Overall, the data indicates that NDOC admissions are consistently comprised by high-level offenses in the Category B, C, while lower offenses like E make up a smaller, more stable proportion of the new admissions each year. From 2017 to 2025, violent and property offenses consistently represented the largest portion of NDOC admissions, though both groups experienced a dramatic decrease in 2020. Sex offense admissions showed minor fluctuations, but remained relatively steady over the time period. Drug-related offenses admissions declined significantly, while DUI remained stable with maybe a slight uptick, and admissions for other offenses increased overall. In 2025, the majority of NDOC admissions were new commitments, totaling 2,271 offenders, or 54% of admissions. Probation violators accounted for 23% of admissions. Parole violators totaled 19%, mandatory parole comprised of 3%, and 46 offenders who were not physically received, with concurrent sentences represented 1% of the admissions. For those of you who are new to our commission, we maintain an interactive dashboard on our website that is updated monthly and includes most of the information presented here today. These dashboards allow you to filter by a wide range of variables, making it easy for you to explore the data on your own. If you haven't familiarized yourself with this tool yet, you may find the answers to your questions there. And of course, the Nevada Department of Sentencing Policy's data team is always available to handle ad hoc requests as well. A few analysis projects that have been completed and or shared with the Commission in the past include the Department of Corrections Aging Population Analysis, the NDOC's Youthful Offender Analysis, the NRS 178-750 report for 2024, and other ad hoc requests. We also have several new projects in progress and others planned for the near future. If there are any additional areas of research you would like to see, please reach out to our team. We welcome your questions and suggestions for analysis. Thank you for your time.
Deputy Director, thank you very much. That was very informative. Does anybody have any questions for Jenna? Yeah, John.
Thank you, Justice Attorney. I had one question. We talked about the percentage numbers, and were those the percentage numbers in prison, like when you talked about the race and ethnicity, or is that also reflective of Nevada's population as a whole? So when we say 37% of the people there were white, is that compared to the white population in Nevada, people of color?
That statistic is just the Nevada Department of Corrections population. We did not do a comparison to the Nevada census. Those are just the raw numbers from the Department of Corrections racial breakdown.
Is it possible to do that comparison?
Yes, we can look into doing that comparison. We have done something similar just with total population size for when we did the NRS 178-750 report. We looked at the number of murders versus the county size in each murder. The only slight challenge I will say with that is the census is often an estimated population because it is only conducted the updated version every 10 years. So it would be an approximate comparative, but we can look into providing those numbers for you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I'm looking for hands on my screen. So obviously feel free to speak up if you have a question as well.
This is Josh Martinez with Las Vegas Metro. I don't know how to
Josh, go ahead.
raise my hand. So regarding the DUI, you said there's DUI increase, a slight increase with DUIs going to prison in the numbers that you found. Can you guys separate that out by county where they're coming from, those DUI offenders, just because we're always talking about traffic fatalities, DUI, and reductions on how to look at those numbers?
Yes, we can definitely provide that for you.
Okay.
I will add one thing too, just for the, because Captain Martinez brought up a great question. Most of these data points we can cross-reference against each other. So if there is a specific data point and you would like to see it broken down by gender, by age, by race and ethnicity, some of these other demographic options, the data is, we're able to break down the data that way. For the overview, we just wanted to provide a relatively comprehensive view, but we are able to dissect even further and cross multiple points over one another.
Christine?
Thank you, Chair. Christine Jones Brady for the record. I'm interested in the comparison of who's in the prison, and I don't know that one discussion that's come up a lot is the amount of people, influx of people we get into our state, especially in Southern Nevada. So we have a lot of tourists. I was looking at some actually some Metro data recently that was showing over 40, I don't know the exact numbers I sit here right now, but over 40 million people come through just Clark County alone, tourism. So I'm wondering, we've asked this like years ago, but I'm wondering if we're able to know whether or not the people in the prison are Nevada residents or what percentage might be tourists. If you can't get it, I understand. It's just it's a conversation that's come up in the past.
Thank you. That is a great question. With the data we currently have from DOC, I don't have that variable, but I'm sure with partnership with DOC, we could try our best to find an answer to that question for you.
Anybody else have any questions? I'm not seeing anything. Okay, Deputy Director Bonacorsi, thank you again. Look forward to maybe at our next meeting getting some updates on that based on the questions that we had today and the request for some follow-up. So thank you. And with that, we're going to go ahead and close out agenda item number 6 and move on to agenda item number 7. You know, it's funny, as I'm sitting here through the meeting, Georgia, I'm thinking maybe we should have done agenda item number 7 at the beginning of the meeting, right? Because we just wanted, we have some new members that have come on obviously for this cycle. So it seemed like a good time to kind of do a meet the commissioners type thing where we get everybody a chance to kind of introduce themselves to everyone else and get reacquainted with those that you already know, as well as kind of introducing yourself to our new members. So we thought what we would do is I'll go through and kind of indicate who's in each seat and then give you an opportunity to just briefly introduce yourself. So I'll start by going out of order and just start with myself. My name is Douglas Herndon. I'm the chair of the commission. I'm a member of the Supreme Court. I'm currently the Chief Justice, and I sit in seat B on the commission, which is a seat reserved for a justice on the Supreme Court. I've been on the court since 2020. Prior to that, I was a district court judge in Clark County for about 15 years. And before that, I was a prosecutor down in Clark County as well. And then I'm going to go to our vice chair, Ms. Jones Brady, who sits in seat F, which is reserved for a representative from the Office of the Attorney General. Christine.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. I have worked with I'm Assistant Attorney General for the state of Nevada, reporting to AG Ford. And so he's very interested in this commission and the good work that it does. I have been at this office for about 6 years. Before that, I worked at the Washoe County Public Defender's Office for approximately 13 years. And before that, before I went to law school, I clerked for Judge Flanagan. But then before that, I did a lot of work, community advocacy for low-income people in Clark County. So, and then that's what I've been doing, and it's nice to see everybody.
All right, thank you. And now I'm just going to go back up and start in order. So in seat A, we have Brian Filter. Seat A is reserved for someone who is an attorney and whose practice primarily consists of representing criminal defendants in a county with a population less than 55,000, appointed by the executive director of the Department of Indigent Defense Services or his designee. So Brian, why don't you go ahead, sir?
Thank you. I am Brian Filter. I currently serve as the director of Douglas County's newly minted Department of Indigent Defense. Been in this slot since May. Prior to that, I had my own practice and primarily did serving as a contract attorney for Douglas County, providing indigent defense. Prior to that, I was a prosecutor both in Nevada and Utah for about 23 years. So I've got a lot of experience in the criminal justice system. I'm happy to be on a commission. I am new on here too, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve.
Thank you, Brian. All right, we will jump down to seat C, which is reserved for 2 members that are district court judges. And we'll start with Judge Kristen Lewis. So Judge Lewis.
Hello. I was recently appointed to the commission. I sit as a district court judge in Carson City, the First Judicial District Court. I've been here for 2 years. The way things have fallen with our judges retiring. I'm now the senior judge, having only been here a short period of time, so it's been quite an experience. Previously, I was a Justice of the Peace for 5 years in Department 2 of the Justice Court in Carson City. I also served as the Assistant District Attorney in the Carson City District Attorney's Office. Before that, I was a juvenile magistrate in the Carson City Juvenile Court. I also served as a Deputy District Attorney here in Carson City. And prior to that, I was a defense attorney in private practice with a couple practitioners. I'm happy to be here. I'm interested very much in what this commission is doing, and it's great to meet all of you.
It's funny how quickly you become the senior judge, right, Kristen?
Oh boy.
I don't believe Judge Yeager was able to join us today, but the other district court seat for seat C is held by Judge Beatty Yeager down in the 8th Judicial District Court. Judge Yeager was a longtime public defender that I used to work with many years ago when I was an attorney. She became a team chief in the public defender's office, was a justice of the peace in Clark County, was then a hearing master in the 8th Judicial District Court, and has been a district court judge now for a number of years down in the 8th Judicial District. Seat D is reserved for a member who is a representative of our administrative office of the courts, and that is John McCormick. So, John.
Thank you, Chair. John McCormick. I'm the Assistant Court Administrator at the Nevada Supreme Court's Administrative Office. I have been there for about 19 and a half years, interacting with justice partners and the legislature and such things.
John is the encyclopedia of all things in Nevada courts. So we're incredibly lucky to have him working in the AOC and on the commission as well. He can pretty much answer anybody's question at any time. Not to put you on the spot there, buddy.
Quite all right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Seat E is held by the Director of the Department of Corrections. So that's James Zorinda. Mr. Zorinda?
He is not here today, Chair.
Oh, okay. My apologies. Seat G are 2 members appointed by the governing body of the Nevada District Attorneys Association, one of whom must be a district attorney in a county whose population is 100,000 or more, and one of whom is a district attorney in a county whose population is less than 100,000. And those 2 individuals on our commission are Christopher Hicks and Mark Jackson. So I'll start with Chris.
Good morning. Yeah, I've been on the commission actually since it started in 2019. I've been a Washoe County District Attorney for this is my 12th year. Prior to that, I've been a prosecutor for my entire career, 24 years. I also serve on the board of directors of the National District Attorneys Association. And I just want to say that in the long time I've been on this commission, without a doubt, the greatest thing that has come from it is all the data we have that was just highlighted. Prior to the creation of this commission, it was like pulling teeth to get valuable prison population information. And it is just so beneficial, I believe, for the goal of this sentencing commission to be able to access all that information. So I just want to commend the Department of Sentencing Policy again for all the work they've done on it.
Thank you, Chris. Mark.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mark Jackson, Douglas County District Attorney. Gosh, I guess I'm in my 34th year of practice. I'm in my 20th year as the elected DA here in Douglas County. I formerly had served for, I think, at least 8 years on the predecessor, the Advisory Commission on the Administration of Justice. I, too, very much appreciate the work of Georgia and her staff through the Nevada Department of Sentencing Policy. Can't thank them enough for getting us all this data.
Thank you, Mark. I will tell you anecdotally, I was at the Washoe County Bar Association 40-year luncheon last month, and we were kidding about how old everybody was. It's been practicing for 40 years, and I realized I've been practicing for 36 years, so I really shouldn't be chuckling about that with anybody else. Sometimes it goes by at the pace of tectonic plates moving, and other times it goes by really, really, really quickly, right? All right, seat H is reserved for a member who's a representative of the Office of the Clark County Public Defender, and that is currently John Pirro. John?
Thank you, Justice Herndon. Nice to meet y'all. My name is John Pirro. I know most of y'all from the legislative stuff, but it's nice to meet the people that I do not know. When I graduated law school, I clerked for a year and then was in private practice before getting hired by the Clark County Public Defender's Office. Fun fact, I actually did my first 3 trials in front of Justice Herndon.
That is a fun piece of trivia, right?
Chair, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Seat I is held by a member of the Washoe County Public Defender's Office, which is Evelyn Grosnick. So, Evie, why don't you go ahead?
Hi, thank you. It's nice to meet everyone and welcome to the commission. To those who are new, I'm fairly new myself. I think I've been on the commission for about 2 years. I'm currently the Washoe County Public Defender, a position I've held for about 2.5 years. Prior to that, I've been with the Public Defender's Office here in Washoe County for about almost 10 years. And then prior to that, clerking for both state court judges, Judge Janet Berry here in Washoe County and Judge Garland Burrell, federal judge in California. And I'm honored to be here and thank you very much.
Thank you. Seat J is reserved for a member appointed by the State Bar of Nevada who is an attorney in private practice, experienced in defending criminal actions, and that is held by Paula Armeni. Paula?
Hi, hello everyone. I am currently the managing partner of Clark Hill in Las Vegas. I clerked for Judge Bonaventure, who at the time had a full criminal calendar and been practicing criminal defense in the private sector my whole career. I also do a lot of civil rights work. I am a proud Boyd alumni of 2003, so the 3rd graduating class, and I have been involved with the Board of Governors and the Advisory Commission with Mark Jackson, and I look forward to, this is my first stint with this commission, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, Paula. Seat K is reserved for a member who has been a victim of a crime or is a representative of an organization supporting the rights of victims of crime. And that is Isis Morales. Isis?
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. I'm an advocate with the Sparks Police Department. I've been doing that for about 10 years. Prior to that, I've been in victim services with the YWCA in Nashville, Tennessee, and also the state of New Jersey, where I'm originally from.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, seat L is reserved for a member from the State Board of Parole Commissioners, and that is held by Christopher Dorico. Chris?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Chris Dorico, Chairman, Board of Parole Commissioners. I've been with the Board of Parole Commissioners since 2017, the chair since 2018. Prior to that, served 21 years and leaving as a senior United States probation officer. And prior to that, 6 years, almost 6 years as a state probation officer.
Thank you. All right, seat M is reserved for a member who is the Chief Parole and Probation Officer or a representative of the Division of Parole and Probation, and that is held by Tamara Jackson. Tamara?
Hello, thank you. Yes, I've been the chief since July of 2023, and I have over 20 years of law enforcement experience in multiple different agencies, and I just want to take a moment and thank Deputy Chief Aaron Evans for serving on this board for the past few years. So thank you, and I look forward to being on the commission.
Thank you. And by the way, Chris, I will publicly apologize to you for not returning your email yet about getting together. I did not forget that.
We'll talk later.
Yeah. Seat N is reserved for a member who is a representative of the Nevada Sheriffs and Chiefs Association, and that is Stephanie Schuman.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair. My name is Stephanie Schuman. I'm currently the Chief Investigator for the Washoe County District Attorney's Office. Pleasure to be here on behalf of the Nevada Sheriffs and Chiefs Association. I'm in my 22nd year in law enforcement. I've been with the DA's office here in Washoe County for 15, and prior to that, served as a parole and probation officer here in Reno, Nevada for about 7 years. So looking forward to working with all the commissioners.
Thank you. Seat O is reserved for a member who is a representative of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and that seat is held by Captain Joshua Martinez. Hi, Josh.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. So my name is Josh Martinez. I've been with Las Vegas Metro for 24 years. I'm currently a captain. I oversee our intergovernmental services office. So I go to the legislature and then work with other elected officials as well as all the other government agencies. During my time here at Metro, I've held various positions, different ranks. Most of my time has been spent in patrol. I have investigative experience as well as the admin experience working in this office, representing the sheriff up at the legislature. I look forward to working with everybody on the commission.
Thank you. Seat P is reserved for a member who is a representative of the Division of Public and Behavioral Health of the Department of Health and Human Services, and that seat is held by Dr. Shara Bradley. Dr. Bradley?
Hello, thank you. I have been serving on this commission since 2022. I am also a proud alum of UNLV. I got my PhD in 2007 and worked in private practice for a little while doing forensic evaluation, and I had a treatment program for adolescent victims of human trafficking. And then I came on with the state of Nevada in 2015 when our forensic inpatient hospital was opening up down here in Las Vegas. The director of psychology over both our forensic and civil hospitals, and the forensic hospital is where the competency evaluation and restoration happens. I'll also offer a little fun fact about Justice Herndon. So when I was in private practice, I was served with an order for the clinical record of one of my clients, an adolescent victim of human trafficking. And I did not think that I should have to hand over her clinical record. And so I challenged the order that was written by Judge Herndon, and it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And I did not have to hand over my record, they decided. So
That's a published opinion, actually. That's a very good published opinion. So fun fact, I often invited people to do that very thing to get good law in place. So yeah, good on you again.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciated your response, which was very welcoming to get additional input on the case. So it was a great experience. So thank you. I'm happy to be a member of this.
Okay, seat Q is reserved for a member who is a representative of an organization that advocates on behalf of inmates, and that is Jarrett Orcutt.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. I'm Jared Orcutt. I'm the Educational Partnership Programs Coordinator at Truckee Meadows Community College, where I oversee our Justice Involved Education program. I want to speak briefly about my perspective. I spent 17 years in the Nevada Department of Corrections. I went to prison for crimes I committed, and I deserved to be there. At that point in my life, I was addicted and hopeless. And what changed my life was education. It didn't happen all at once. It happened with a small goal. I wanted to be an HVAC technician, and that eventually led to a career in higher education. And I actually just applied for my master's program at UNR for the fall semester. So very excited about that. But education gave me a future I didn't think I was allowed to have. And I'm immensely grateful to be at this table. And I look forward to contributing my perspective to the commission's work. Thank you.
Thank you, Jarrett. Okay, seat R is reserved for two members who are Nevada state senators. Seat number 1 in that, or seat R1, is Senator Melanie Scheibel. Melanie?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us at this meeting. And I'm Melanie Scheibel. I represent Senate District 9. I am also the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee. I've been chair of that committee since 2021 and served on it since 2019. So I've served almost 8 years in the Nevada Senate and absolutely love that job, getting to work with many of the people who I see here today. And of course, the Judiciary Committee covers all kinds of criminal justice issues, including sentencing and sentencing policy. In my day job, I am a criminal defense attorney and I was previously a prosecutor. So I do bring some courtroom experience in criminal law to the Nevada State Senate and have really enjoyed getting to learn more about the criminal justice process outside of Clark County, all throughout our state, and appreciate everybody's hard work here on the commission.
Thank you, Melanie. The second seat, R2, is Senator John Steinbeck. John?
Chair, Senator Steinbeck said that he had to jump off.
Chair, you're on mute again.
Thanks, John. Seat S is reserved for 2 members who are members of the Nevada Assembly. Seat S1 is Assemblyperson Erica Roth. Erica?
Good morning, everyone. So nice to see so many familiar faces. My name's Erica Roth. I represent Assembly District 24 in the heart of Reno. Outside of my role as a legislator, I am a public defender and was previously Governor Sisolak's Deputy General Counsel as well.
Thank you, Erica. Seat S2 is held by Assemblyperson Brian Hibbets. Brian?
Thank you, Chair. I'm Brian Hibbets, and I have the honor of representing Assembly District 13 in the northwest part of Las Vegas. And I've been on this commission since 2023 when I was first appointed. And prior to my career in politics, I spent 27 years working for the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
Thank you, Brian. And I probably should have given you a little information about Senator Steinbeck since he was unable to stick around. But Senator Steinbeck, I believe, was first elected in 2024. I believe he was is in the Clark County Fire Department and has been there for several decades, actually. Okay, seat T is reserved for a member who is the director or a representative of the Department of Employment, Training, and Rehabilitation, and that seat is held by Troy Jordan. Troy?
Hello, everyone. Troy Jordan. I'm the current Deputy Director of the Department of Employment, Training, and Rehabilitation, also known as DETR. I've held this position since January of 2023. Prior to that, I've been with DETR just about 7 years now. I was the in-house counsel for DETR prior to the gubernatorial election. When Governor Lombardo was elected, I was promoted to Deputy Director. Prior to coming to DETR, I had 10 years experience as a prosecutor and 5 years in private criminal defense. Been on the commission since 2023. Looking forward to doing more work.
Thank you. Seat U is reserved for a member who is a representative of an organization that works with offenders upon release from incarceration. That seat is currently held by Alicia Mosley Sales. I do not believe Ms. Mosley Sales was able to be present today, but I can tell you that she is the Director of State and Local Advocacy for the Fines and Fees Justice Center. She was previously the Nevada director of that organization as well. And that's an organization, for those of you that don't know any of our new commission members, that advocates for justice system reforms, for more fair and equitable treatment in financial issues in criminal convictions related to fines and fees. Okay, seat V is reserved for a member who is a representative of the Central Repository for Nevada Records of Criminal History, and that is held by Erica Susalamas. Erica?
Good morning. I'm Erica Susie Yamas. I'm the administrator of the Records, Communications, and Compliance Division within the Department of Public Safety. We're also known as the Central Repository for Nevada Records of Criminal History. I've been here at the repository for 27 years, and I look forward to continuing to working with everybody at NDSP and here on the commission.
Thank you. And finally, seat W is reserved for a member who is a faculty member of the Nevada System of Higher Education involved with teaching criminal justice, and that seat is held by Dr. Jennifer Lanterman. Dr. Lanterman?
Good morning, everybody. I am a professor of criminal justice and the director of the Grant Sawyer Center for Justice Studies at UNR, where I've been a faculty member since 2012. I've been on the commission since 2020. And my focus professionally is on program and policy development, implementation, and evaluation with the overall goal of improving legal system effectiveness, broadly defined. And I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you. And thank you again to everybody for your participation and for taking a few minutes to introduce yourselves. For those of you that are new, what you'll see is that this commission is set up to have folks with a real diversity of backgrounds and experiences to be of help as we go through and evaluate and do the things we do to make recommendations and hopefully improve policy as we move forward. I'm going to go ahead and close out agenda item number 7, and we'll move on to agenda item number 8, which is future meetings. The dates for the meetings for the rest of the year have been provided in the agenda that was circulated, I believe. Our next meeting is scheduled for March 20th, 2026 at 9 a.m. That's a virtual meeting. And then in May 15th, 2026, at 9 a.m., we're going to have an in-person meeting, and there's locations in the north and in the south to come in person. As always, our staff is working on topics for all of our meetings. We know already that we gave Jenna some marching orders for the next meeting to compile a few more statistics and information. But if anybody in the interim comes up with ideas that they would like to see presented to us, please reach out to staff and let them know, as we're always kind of evolving and adding to the things that we want to present. With that, does anybody have anything right now that they can think of that they would like to put on the radar for future meetings? Nope. Okay. We will close out agenda item number 8 and move on to agenda item number 9, which is our second period of public comment. Let me just first ask, Cecilia, do we have anybody on the line that wishes to make public comment?
Chair, we have no callers who wish to testify.
We have no callers. Okay. Well, we always have a second period of public comment. And I will again say, to the extent the meeting is live streamed, to anybody that's watching that wishes to make written comments, you can certainly do that as well by sending them by email to sentencingpolicy@ndsp.nv.gov. If you do that, we'll make sure that the written comments get disseminated to all the members for their review. And since we have no public comment callers, we'll go ahead and close agenda item number 9, our second period of public comment, and move to agenda item number 10, which is the adjournment of our meeting. So, folks, thank you again for your work on the commission, your presence and participation here today. I wish you all well, and we'll see everybody back for our meeting in March. All right, guys, take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Director Powers, thank you again.